Hello. Hi. I'm BoredGamer. How's everyone doing? Hope you are well today. Um, I Me and Zin have been working on some videos today. The Squadron 42 sort of report, a video on the latest news with Rivers and the Xeno threat breakdown of stats and stuff. So we'll talk about some of that today as well. How's everyone doing? If you'd like to ask a question during the stream, just question in brackets. I went to on Thursday evenings. I go to D&D. Got a good D&D session last night. It's all a bit silly. I rolled, I think, like 5 ones in a roll on D20s, which is impressive. At one point, I could not. I'm a rogue, and I could not climb up anything. Literally trying to climb up everything with just buttery hands, just falling off everything. Unfortunately, not fatal. But I hope everyone's doing well. Hope world events have not got you too down in the dumps or anxious. We here will be talking mostly about Star Citizen. I have been playing quite a bit of Lost Ark as well recently. Me and Sin have got really into that with a load of our other friends. And it's good laugh. It's obviously free on Steam. And it's got hundreds and hundreds of hours of Diablo 3-like gameplay with a load of mini games and other things in there as well. I'm really enjoying that. Also had a conversation with Level Cap the other day, who's a quite big YouTuber who has previously covered a huge amount of Battlefield and first-person shooter type games, and he's sort of big in that. And I think he's trying to do a bit of Star Citizen content now, because he's like, well, actually, I want to look at some of the future of other games like Star Citizen. So he's a very nice chap. I like talking to him. He plays a load of other games as well. And we were talking, that's one of the things I'm not sure was included, because I haven't re-listened to the whole video again. I got about halfway through it and went, I was here for this. When we were recording it, and because we recorded probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours of content, and I think he's cut it down. Oh, Salty Mike, thank you very much. Hope you're doing well, sir. River Star Citizen board. Hi. We will be talking about Rivers in a minute. Hope you are well. Oh, sorry, Mike. I need to chat to you at some point, because I keep on saying, let's talk or let's do something, and then I never follow you up on it because I'm lazy, and life's been a bit hectic. Yeah, love your bits, man, and let's talk soon. Let's just hook up for a chat and catch up. I hope you and your wife are doing well, and I love you to bits, man. Always, yeah, cool. I will. I'll just I'll get you in your Discord at some point. So for people that don't actually know, Salty Mike and Saurus and a couple of other people, they are people that got me to people I looked at when I first started Star Citizen, especially to get into streaming and get into doing YouTube videos on it. Like, they were and are still an invaluable source, especially Salty Mike. I love watching your videos and opinions and stuff. They differ from mine often, or at least I have a different outlook on it, but it's sort of important to have that difference of opinion and be able to acknowledge that and discuss it. And yeah, it's I like talking to you. Answer call on Sunday. It could force us to hang out. Oh, that's not a bad idea. I might be hungover. It depends if I go out on Saturday night. I'll give you a poke after stream. Let's arrange something, even if it is that. Even if I am hungover, maybe. That sounds terrible. But yes, thank you very much. Oh, you star. Thank you. I hope everything's going good, and we'll catch up soon. Right. Sorry, I was fanboying over Salty Mike. But yes. So, really enjoying Lost Ark, and we're talking to Level Cap about, we play loads of other games other than the game that we sort of focus on our YouTube channel, but we couldn't really bring those games onto our YouTube channel, even if we really enjoy them, because our audiences wouldn't enjoy them, and we don't have the same sort of level of clout nor knowledge about the other games we enjoy. It's an interesting thing. One of the things that, if you can break into multi-streaming, multi-gaming stuff, that's fantastic. Or if you're a personality in your own right and can play whatever you fancy at any given time, which is very different from doing a more dedicated news for a channel. I mean, it's a lot more rigid and I'd say more structured and probably potentially easier to do stuff on just a set topic all the time, because then you build your knowledge and it's actually quite easy, at least in my opinion. But there are definitely bonuses and some good points about being able to do any content you want at any given time just because you fancy it and be able to make money from it. But yeah, sorry, that's just a random sort of rant. Does the stream have a river? It will have rivers at some point. We'll have a quick look at the rivers on the Inside Star Citizen. Have a bit of a talk about that. You say rivers, it has river. It will have a single river when we talk about Microtech's river. Bored of being salty. I mean, we can, yeah, maybe. So there are people that I do desperately want to work with again. See Matt Brothers, Salty Mike, Noob Fire. Quite a large list actually. I know Morph will be back. Morph will be back soon. I can feel it. It'll just be a nice, pretty ship. It'll be like, ooh. Hey, or we what? This question's written weirdly, or my brain can't process it. Will fuel tanks be physicalized? Can they be shot at and leak? So a lot of components are going to be physicalized. I would expect fuel tanks to be physicalized in some way, especially on certain ships that have additional fuel tanks. They can probably be destroyed. Will they leak? Probably not in a tangible way that they can then catch fire or anything, but maybe they can be damaged in such a way that you lose a percentage of your fuel and things like that. They haven't really talked about fuel leaks. Be interesting to see actually that with fuel-based cargo on the Starfarer in the future. So obviously you're going to be filling your fuel tanks, yeah, in the Starfarer. Can they be damaged? Can you leak fuel from them? I would suspect that they would like that, but it's whether how viable that is. And obviously the other thing is that people are like, oh, it's quantum or hydrogen fuel. It'll be flammable. It might not be flammable at all, not in any tangible way that we'd have in space. How big do you think the merchantman is now? I believe the last time they talked about it, it was a bit bigger than they had originally made it. So I don't think we have a actual size that they've given for it now, because they've just completed its white box phase and it's moved into grey box. So the merchantman is making big strides towards completion already. I say towards completion. It's always towards completion, but getting through white box is big. Getting into grey box now, fantastic. And we're going to see more and more of that ship every sort of month, I would expect, or every couple of months. But I would expect it to be a bit bigger than it was originally. Maybe by or when they last talked about it, maybe by 10%. Maybe a little bit more than that. The rivers I don't understand. Are they procedural, but the first one they did by hand and the rest will be placed by procedural engine? So, they didn't actually say exactly how they've done the first river. So, for people that don't know, let's show this. Let's show this and talk about it. Inside Star Citizen. Beep. Beep. So,
had to build the river mesh from the ground up, which one of the
look at this beautiful boy.
Major things that we had to add was dressing presets.
So we got rivers. They've been building rivers for Star Citizen Alpha 3.17. That's right. The next major patch. I'm just going to flick through, and you're going to see lots of little bits of rivers.
But we still needed some more object scattering, so we could have fun.
So you can see a load of river. So the first river we've got is on Microtech, a single river in 3.17. They haven't said exactly where it is, but it's going to be running from some Microtech mountains into some Microtech water. Look at what a beautiful face to stop on. The area around rivers has some additional spawn points for trees and stuff, so you're going to see much more dense sort of fauna there, and more flora there. Did I say fauna? Flora, and you're obviously going to see some more harvestables. You're also going to be able to walk in the water.
led me to work on-demand spawn points, a system where we can pass up that location. We now things that we also had to build the river mesh from the ground up, which involved.
So, they've got a procedurally assisted way of being able to place rivers, which they're also going to be using in some way or similar ways for roads, lava rivers, things like that as well. So it sort of generates, we want a river to go from here to here, or we want loads of rivers on the planet, blah, 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 it can make them all. The first one they've got is going to be using some of that tech, but it's unfinished or unrefined. So some of it might have been, or large portions of it might have been done by hand. Now, with planets with cities and sort of more hero asset planets, it's very important. Whereas ones that they can do, like hundreds of rivers procedurally generated, is great as well. For ones that have less in the way of built up areas and cities on, they go bam, bam, let's just produce these. It's got 50 rivers on, and then we can place the outposts and other things around that. And it's going to be procedurally assisted rather than fully procedurally generated, which means they can edit these things by hand and will as well. So, but,
that did sadly mean
the idea is that the river sort of knows the route it should take and makes it a bit more organic and natural looking, but sort of does work its way towards a larger body of water, so from a mountain to the sea. And also going to be able to walk underwater in 3.17. So there was no change in animation from walking underwater. It's just, it looks different. So I don't know if there's going to be any additional changes to that as well with 3.17. Hopefully, and eventually they'll add swimming and different types of animation for that. Yeah, maybe you can just walk underwater if you're heavy enough. But you'll be able to grav lev over rivers and oceans as well.
Without just falling through and experiencing both
look at the
to objects
fusion
above
and
the water,
refraction
like your ship,
of lights
trees
around
or
areas.
rocks,
That's pretty cool,
and
right?
onto the surface below.
I do like the idea
Planet content team
of having rivers in 3.17. It's an extra thing. I don't think we expected it really to be in 3.17 either. But it's not rivers, it's river. Single river to start with, and we'll just see a lot more in future planets. Is the current river made out of Baccha's tears? No. So it's from the additional funding. So I suppose the greater ocean is Baccha tears. Why would it be Baccha tears? We love river. I love river. The Banner Merchantman is 160 meters long, according to metrics given in 2021-ish. That's the last they talked about it, but I would expect it to be probably closer to 200 meters now. That's my expectation. Not a confirmation. Do we know what level the water kill boxes have? Do we know to what level water kill boxes have been removed? It looks like they've been entirely removed as long as you're wearing a helmet. I think you probably suffocate still if you take off your helmet. Oh, is it FPS and ground vehicles or everything? Will ships be destroyed in them? That is a good point. I don't know. Yeah, so they can, as they said, they can generate a river with 1 to 2 clicks now, but that might not necessarily be perfect. They want to do everything so that it is procedurally generated in a way, or procedurally assisted in a way that they don't have to do much at all. They can just go, actually, it's going to look great when we just go, we want to build a planet with these rivers already sort of sorted, so they don't then have to edit bits. Because obviously it is more than just 1 to 2 clicks. They can generate a river now with 1 to 2 clicks, but then they'll want to do more fauna on the side, and flora on the side. My God, getting confused between animals and trees and harvestables and things like that. So they want all of that handled by the same system. Hi, Bored. Love your content. I'm fine. Hope you're fine too. Do you know if the Carrack will get a little bug fixing this year? They are working on elevators and traversal stuff for getting in and out of ships. So yes, I would expect the elevators to get some love in all ships and stations. They talked about that recently as well. Will there be a coffee vendor in the river? I don't believe so, unless we can knock him out and drag him there. Or drag them. Flora and fauna, I think. Well, at this stage, it's only going to be flora. trees, plants. So, in a stream I did ages ago, we put some rubber ducks and some other things in the water on the sea, and they did float away. So it's going to be interesting to see, because they did say that in the future we're going to have the water take. There's going to be currents. It will take things with it. You can drop something, it will float away. But when we're going to get that, what gameplay does that provide, or is it just to look better? Or eventually, are we going to be having little boats? Yeah, will ships be able to go underwater freely and easily, or are they going to be too buoyant? When is server meshing coming so we can have a single shard? We don't know when server meshing is coming, and it's going to be a while before we have a single shard, even if that is possible, because they're going to have sharding even when they have server meshing, and even probably when they have dynamic server meshing, because you'll probably still have, at least in the mid-term, sort of regional-based servers. That might change. Hopefully it will. I may love the idea of everyone being on one mega server, if that is indeed possible. Are they going to let you swim ever? Swimming is supposed to be a thing. They've been working on animations for it. It was going to be in the game a little while ago, and then they sort of pushed it back. What will be first, Squadron 42 or Half-Life 3? Squadron 42 almost certainly. However, there are some Valve projects like Citadel, whatever that's being called, that may come out well before that. At what point, what are you waiting for most before you play Star Citizen full-time? I'll probably never play Star Citizen full-time. That's madness. I like to play a range of games. Getting Star Citizen as a game I play for maybe 50-plus hours a week. 80-plus hours a week. It's actually probably more likely. It's when it's closer to beta. Like, I'm really looking forward to Star Citizen. Almost certainly Star Citizen will be my most played game. I mean, it is probably my most played game by quite some margin, by hours already. I am looking to no-life it to some extent when it has... I suppose, when we're closer to beta, but when the game's actually released, that's pretty exciting for me. Like, that means I can actually influence and change the game permanently, and yeah, I'm very excited about that. Do you feel that players are focusing too much on rivers this week rather than the changes to the reputation coming, or in fact, the dynamic mission system that was put on the progress tracker? So, it's really good that they're starting to show stuff like this and talk about stuff like this. Reputation changes, super important. That builds onto the mission system and the dynamic mission system. Gives us a lot more to do in game, lots more to grind up for. Gives us a lot more reason to be an outlaw. I really love the fact they went, look, we want outlaws and criminals in game, and we want there to be gameplay associated with that. But we also want there to be reputation systems associated with that. So, yeah, if you're a long-time career criminal, the security forces are going to recognize you and shoot first and ask questions later. Fantastic. And this is all leading to deeper bounty hunting gameplay and just a load more to do in game as well. So, yeah, reputation system is vitally important, more so than rivers, for sure. But rivers make planets look prettier. And also, although we are getting some reputation updates in 3.17, they are largely going to be invisible, is what they said. They're sort of building a lot more into 3.18. But the river that we've got is going to be in 3.17, and we didn't expect that at all. At least I didn't. I didn't know if I'm stupid, but I noticed that most of the ship sizes are not accurate. The 300i is about 27 meters long. That's like 7 or 8 cars. The ship looks much smaller in game. Is this a known thing? Some of the ships aren't accurately represented by their sizes. This is typically when looking at ships that are in concept or haven't been updated properly on the ship matrix. 327 meters long. I don't know why I'm doing this. Well, like 15 meters long or so, isn't it? 300i. No way that's 27 meters long, is it? It's really sort of fighter sized, isn't it? My brain's melting. I need to look. I need to look on the ship matrix now. So it's only a. It says it's 27 meters long. Maybe it's from gun to. I mean, it does have. The new one does have, or the newer one does have a sort of internal section. It does feel like it's very long. Was the. Doesn't it? I think I need to think about and look at ships' sizes and lengths again. But I suppose full length, if you're talking about the furthest part from the furthest part, maybe including the very tips. Talk about internal size, it's sort of like, what, like 15 to 17 meters. Yeah? I was talking about its internal size of the ship. So you sort of like, 17 or 18, up to 20 meters in length for like an Aurora. I need to compare with the ships again, talk about stuff, and actually, 27 meters seems very big, doesn't it? Very long. Maybe I'm just going mad. You've driven me mad. I absolutely love the Mercury Star Runner. I think it's a beautiful ship. Am I late if I buy the game now? I mean, the game's playable. It's in alpha, but it's in alpha. So you're not late to anything. I mean, you'll still be what I would consider an early adopter. Also, you're not missing out on anything by waiting either, because you're the game's not going to be permanently. It's going to be reset every so often until the actual release.
Afternoon, Bored. Hope you're doing well. Looking forward to salvage. Hoping that doesn't get scrubbed off. Have a good weekend.
Afternoon, Bored. Hope you're doing well. Looking forward to salvage. Hoping that doesn't get scrubbed off. Have a good weekend. Thanks very much, Bearded Miner. Appreciated it. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. You legend. Yes, me too. I hope that. But it looks like they're really focusing 3.18 with salvage. So I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be slipping again. Will there be rivers in space? Do you think we'll be able to walk down into the Hurston Ocean or just one river? You'll be able to walk down into the ocean as far as somewhere in 3.17. They did say that the oceans haven't been sort of polished and worked out very well yet. So they need to go back and look at them and make them a bit more interesting, I think. How big is the A90 jump compared to the Banning Merchantman? So is the A90 jump's about 200 meters, isn't it? Let's have a look on the ship matrix again. Maybe not entirely perfectly accurate. 890. The 205 meters currently. The 890 is listed as, which is definitely at least about right. And the Banning Merchantman is listed at 160, but I think that the Banning Merchantman is closer to 200 now as well. And though I expect the Banning Merchantman to be overall larger, it's obviously going to be a lot wider, and we certainly have more floors. I'm very much looking forward to seeing that Banning Merchantman develop through Grey Box. I haven't had a chance to play this patch. Can you fly a ship in any of the oceans? So Not in 3.16, so currently we're in 3.16.1. We're looking forward to 3.17, which should be starting to be tested later this month. And that's what's going to have the river and the sort of water updates that you can walk into them. We don't know whether you can fly a ship into the water. Will this road tech finally force an expansion of ArcCorp? I think we're going to start to see more gameplay to some of the cities. To think places like ArcCorp, they are going to be building out the interiors of some of these buildings for mission and other gameplay related reasons as well. Are they still resetting money? They will reset it every so often. Money and assets that you've earned in game. Are we seeing a reset for 3.17? We don't know, but I'm not expecting one. Will we be able to fish? It's an MMO. Of course we'll be able to fish one day. That's my expectation anyway. We're going to have fishing, right? Fishing tournament on Microtech next year. Nice. Do you think we're able to have ships working underwater or separate vehicles for underwater exploration? Good question. I don't know. They have talked about water-based vehicles before, but not much about them. I very much enjoyed your chat with Level Cap Gaming. It's always a pleasure to hear your views on Star Citizen. I love your enthusiasm for the project. Yeah, I absolutely love Star Citizen, but I think I'm relatively realistic. I'm very bullish on Star Citizen. I'm very sort of confident and enthusiastic about it, and often wrong about dates, which is why I make that very clear that stuff moves all the time, and you've got to be realistic with that. Sort of like, even if you're confident and happy about it, stuff can get moved off at the last second. And I've been saying and hoping that Squadron 42 is going to be released every year since like 2017. Oh wow, Robert Johnston, you are a beautiful boy. You posted some of these ANAs without even me asking you, paying money. So no money for you tonight, sucker. Robert Johnston. The irony is not lost on me. I will make sure that I get these AMAs posted much more often. A lot of people have been asking me to make sure I post them, and I'm very bad at posting my live streams afterwards. I sort of forget and then get sort of busy with something else. I genuinely appreciate your support, mate. Like, genuinely, you are an absolute legend. I hope you are doing well, sir. You can tell me to F off anytime you want. And yeah, you're a bit of a legend. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to receive hundreds of dollars from you. One of my best mates, Cameron, he's in New Zealand at the moment, visiting his family. I think he went over there. There was a 10-day sort of lockdown. And when you get that sort of like a transition period, when you get there, before you're allowed, because they keep you there just in case of the coronavirus and stuff, they sort of locked the area down. I think it changed to 7 days as he got there, so he was like, yay, an extra 3 days. But looking forward to him coming back to the UK. One of the reasons I'm looking forward to coming back to the UK is because I'm trying to organise my Star Citizen, Big Bar Citizen type thing. And I was I've tried to get 5 venues, all of which seem either busy or inappropriate or failed me in some way over the last few weeks. So I've had that again. He is very good at organising that sort of thing. So I'm going to ask him some advice. How do you think kidnapping will work? I think it will be you can, in the same way as bounty hunting, knock people out, take them, people as cargo. I think it's going to be as simple as that. There'll probably be missions associated with capture this guy and bring him here. With the delay and then pulling everyone to Squadron 42. It's not everyone. It is a large... the lion's share of development is on Squadron 42, yes. Do you think that it's them not wanting to tell us that they have a major blocker that is stopping them from more PU dev? So the major blockers for persistent universe development are going to be server meshing, general... server meshing, general AI-based stuff, I suppose. But they're working on a load of features. They're working on a load of it. They can constantly build out gameplay area, the tools for planets and structures, and there's a huge amount to do, and there's a huge amount they are doing. It's just a lot of work is going into Squadron 42, which also has the core components of the game, and that's another major blocker. Having ships flyable with the physical sort of damage system and physicalized components all working properly. They need to get that nailed down to then expand the game on top of that, really. I mean, there's a lot they can do still, but we actually start to see stuff come together. I think that's what it is. When we have Squadron 42 in our hands, when that's gone out, the rest of the persistent universe can start to come together a lot more. At least that's my expectation. Will we ever be able to play as Banu or other alien races? Good question. Clan Imperium basically said after release we'll probably be looking at potentially allowing you to play as other races. Thank you very much again, Robert Johnston. 45 months a member. Oh, wow. That's on my YouTube as well. 45 months as a YouTube join member. You're a monster. So how is my favourite... Dyslexic pie bowler. Oh my god. I'm people that don't know I'm dyslexic. I have troubles reading and interpreting things. That's why I get people's names so wrong. If I've not heard or seen a word before, so that's typically with people's names and sort of gamer tags or whatever, I'll get confused. I do not know how to say it. Oh, and don't invest my donation in NFTs. What? Why not? Thank you very much. Genuinely appreciate it. They will not go into NFTs. So stuff that's donated to the channel will basically go to buying hardware, getting stuff for the channel, paying mine and Zin's wages. So obviously Zin is a editor, but I'm using it for more and more. Just to help expanding the channel is the idea with the donations for the channel, and it's genuinely appreciated. Thanks so much. And thank you for becoming a YouTube join member. You star. What else have we got here? Will you be able to... we talked about that a minute ago. Why are rivers such a big deal for Star Citizen? It's just the continued evolution of planetary tech. Rivers are an important part of them also being able to do river-like things, water, and roads, because they're similar tech, roads building them. I think BoredGamer only suggested about getting a starter pack and $5 upgrade. So... there's two things that I suggest. So, if you're thinking of getting Star Citizen, trying to free fly that they have semi-often, but buying a starter package is good. Like $45, you get a ship, and you get access to the game, and then you can get everything in-game. Sometimes, if you're like, oh, I do want a little bit more, I've fallen in love with the ship. Yeah, if you've got money to burn, and you love Star Citizen, you want to support it, you want to give the devs some pocket money, whatever, cool. Upgrade your ship, buy another ship. The only other ship I'd recommend other than a starter ship, other than a ship you love, is an Avenger Titan. Upgrading your starter ship to an Avenger Titan, it's like $15, $20 more based on when you buy your ship. And it's a very good multi-role ship that allows you to do a little bit more, and it has very good upgrade options compared to the Mustang and the Aurora, which are the starter ships. However, you can just buy that in-game pretty quick. By doing some missions in game anyway, so I'm not going to tell people what to do with their money. However, I will always recommend you spend less on games and more on hardware, unless you want to support them. Or yeah, do you know what I mean? Just as a general rule. You think we'll ever be able to traverse underwater as we do in space for EVA or tractor traversal? I think there will be underwater gameplay. I do think there will be swimming and probably diving to some extent, and underwater gameplay with vehicles or ships or something in some way. So, I don't know exactly what though. My question was skipped over. Sorry, Zini Beanie. I apologise. Let's see if I see... Can't even see your question. Sorry. Feel free to ask it again. Apologies. I cannot see it. I feel bad. It's possible that ships may need to be specially equipped to go underwater. Only some ships will be able to do it. There might be underwater based. There might be ships or bikes and stuff that are better underwater. There's lots of random stuff we don't know. So the Pioneer is going to allow you to build bases on planets, but Clan Imperium have said, with the latest talk about base building, is that you won't need a Pioneer to build bases. You will be able to bring materials and some prefabricated stuff to planets and do it on a smaller scale. But the Pioneer is going to allow you to build larger bases. It's going to give you more options, and it's going to make it a lot quicker and easier and more cost effective. You also be able to use raw materials in the general area, it sounds, to build the sort of prefabricated things that you need. Do you think the shorter release view is better for morale in the long term, with less features falling off and more popping on like rivers? So are you talking about morale for players or morale for devs? So it's an interesting thing. Star Citizen is very sort of open with its development, which also means that its devs are quite exposed to criticism and talking and interacting with the community online. So that some people being upset by certain things does cause morale hits to some extent with Cloud Imperium. I think Cloud Imperium need to sort of suck that up, though. It is part and parcel of being an open development that's going to happen. Now, individuals, though, I mean, obviously some devs, especially the devs that put their name out there or actually go on camera or whatever, they may not be prepared or equipped, and it's not fair for them to be unduly criticised individually. And obviously, if they're working on a feature which isn't well received or had problems or get delayed or whatever, they're going to feel bad. So I do understand the morale thing, and I do think that a lot of, if not all of the CIG devs are pretty good chaps, and they do good work, and there's a lot of risk involved in what they do for their morale and their sort of I really appreciate themselves putting them out there. That's pretty awesome. Hatsune Miku, hi Bored. Do you think we'll get some form of sharding or a long-term persistence in 3.17 as the two things for persistence finished on their sprint for 3.17? I don't think so. I do think we're going to start to see maybe a little bit of LTP, maybe a little bit of sharding type stuff, or deeper persistence bits in 3.18. I'm sort of expecting them to talk about that a bit more, but I'm not expecting it for 3.17 personally. Thank you so much for that donation, though. That is very much appreciated. But I do see... So going back to the morale thing, it's interesting what Clan Imperium do with some of their features. Obviously, some features they want to push in that don't require any additional gameplay or work to get in and will work and function fine. Other things that they don't want to release in isolation need to go through the Squadron 42 pipeline or get extra sort of persistent universe gameplay loops and additions sort of to them before they push in the game. So you're going to see things much more like the push for Pyro. You're going to see reputation updates. You're going to see more missions added to the game and expansion of current gameplay. Obviously, salvage, fantastic. That's a big gameplay loop they can start to expand out. Cargo overhaul, fantastic. They can start to do better piracy in game, better economy, and more interactions with cargo. It's really important gameplay loops that they can expand on that sort of work and make sense to put in the game as soon as possible. And then you'll see like an expansion to bounty hunting and stuff like that. Any idea when we'll see the glaive rework? So we know that internally the glaive has been reworked. They just haven't added that to the Arena Commander. They haven't updated the scythe there or the glaive. Nor has it been updated in player hands, but soon, I'm expecting. Once refueling is added, will we need to refuel ships to go sell our refined Quantanium? Will we need a fuel ship to go and sell refined Quantanium? So you'll be able to fill up a Starfarer with Quantanium fuel and sell it to places and sell it to other players. Yeah, that'll be the best way of moving it around. Will the fish kill you? When they add fish in the game that can. Do you play Red Dead Online? I really did not like it. Played it very brief. It's a game that I have a tiny amount of time in. After I bought 3 copies, one for me and one for Zin and one for my mate Kit, and we played it for about half an hour, and then we're done. We were done with it. Like, nah, it's not for us. It's not as good as for what we wanted as GTA 5 was. Good morning, board. Do you think there will be some alien starter ships at some point? So that was sort of... They wanted to have like the Reliant and things like that, sort of pushing towards slightly more alien, even like the Nomad, I suppose, slightly more unique. Will we see a true alien starter at any point? I don't know. I like the idea of it. What else have we got? How do you think mining rep will work? Well, if you mine for missions, or you sell to a particular place, you'll probably build mining rep with them. Yeah, probably simple as that. There'll be mining type missions, or missions for mining orgs and guilds. And because some of it might be security work, you do security work for them, which might affect your reputation with them in general. So it doesn't all have to be specifically for doing mining. You could just do work for them. What is your guess for the timeline of the 3.17 cycle? So in about 2 weeks, I would expect to see it go to Ivocati, and then a wider PTU maybe a week after that. Open PTU as early as the end of the month would be my expectation. Probably aimed for the end of the month, in fact. Have you heard anything more about a complimentary game package for Concierge? I have not. I've not heard anything else. But I do expect that once you spend a certain amount, they probably will just attribute to you a game account. Because that's sensible to do so, right? Because I know that like one of my mates, he liquidated one of his ships and then lost access to Star Citizen because it was the last package he had that had game access, and he hadn't realised, and he spent thousands of dollars. So bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to use the facilities. Good. Step over a load of randoms. Charles. Hi. Have you heard? We talked about that. Do you think the Urza will be amphibious, given it's supposed to be used for exploration? I mean, it is airtight. It might be. I mean, they showed it in the water. Do you think it would be possible to have a hab underwater? They haven't talked about underwater base building. They have not talked about that. I like the idea. I have played Subnautica. Love that. All joking aside, the Gladiator, mad fun. Do you see a rework coming for it? So it will be definitely brought up to gold standard, as all ships will, or multiple times potentially. And they are working on other types of bomb. So. How'd it go last time? What happened to iCache? iCache has been rolled into, and they've done a load of iCache stuff and it's been put in game, but iCache has been rolled into greater persistence, long-term persistence, greater persistence stuff, So it's sort of been pulled into the umbrella of that. So they will refer to things like entity graph and persistent streaming and all this sort of stuff, which is now including iCache. What else have we got here? Going along with reputation, do you think that your rep in a particular area will be your general rep with all, or only with a faction that you work up to build with? So I think it's all going to be factional. That's been my expectation. It will be factional and also individual. So certain NPCs will also treat you slightly differently. They'll be like the hero NPCs, like Mars Eckhart. What else have we got here? CIG recently discussed they need new NPC mission giver archetypes. What type of archetypes would you want to see? I just want loads and loads and loads and loads of missions to be covered. And also, a lot of the gameplay that the players could do some form of role for in-game, like with the economy, with base building, all that sort of stuff. I would also like there to be some PvE-based content associated with that, so you can at least learn those mechanics. So I want a load of missions and mission givers that can also give you training missions effectively, or basic missions that make you learn the game and then learn mining, learn salvage, learn and that sort of expand your knowledge and grow within that. Because the game doesn't have any form of hand-holding or training missions at the moment, or sort of tutorials in-game. So that's super essential for me. Do you think you could define what you will need in place, or what conditions will need to be present before Star Citizen's Persistent Universe moves in to beta? So typically, beta would be largely feature complete, but not content complete. Yeah? So you have Squadron 42, have all the core content from Squadron 42 in the game. So Fierce Skies components, balanced flight model, all that sort of jazz. And then you need a moderate amount of gameplay area, not a huge amount, just like 3 star systems would work, but maybe a dozen, up to a dozen, and then all the basic gameplay loops, or at least a large portion of basic gameplay loops, from salvage to base building to a load of economy-based ones, and then them to go, none of this stuff here, or most of this stuff isn't placeholder, and we're building some more features on top of that, beyond that. That's when you can sort of move into beta, and then they build out content. The definition is interesting because people will define it in different ways, and a company will just go, we're in beta when there's enough content and enough stability there. You poo-pooed my question to the devs about entertainment in the future. I guess my question wasn't worthy. I'll try hard in the future. So I apologise. Did I poo-poo your question? Oh, was that... That was in the narrative team and lore team stuff. I apologise. It wasn't super tangible. It wasn't something I poo-pooed necessarily. The answer they gave wasn't enough of a tangible reply beyond them talking about, oh yeah, they look at this and they do this and whatever. It wasn't sort of like, they have these TVs which will be on your ships that you can watch news channels on. It wasn't anything like that. It was just sort of talking about art and movies and things. I was like, okay. I wasn't that interested in the answer. That's what it was. If they'd answered it differently, I would have been. Sorry, I apologise. Maybe I should cover... It's hard for me to... When I highlight something, I'm going to highlight things I'm interested in. Do you think CIG will add more and more surprise last-minute features? They're certainly going to do that occasionally. It's not surprise last minute because they're trying to surprise us necessarily either. It's surprise last minute sometimes because they're like, it's actually ready now. Oh, cool. Put it in. Hope everyone's doing well. Can you please convert meters to qubits so I can understand? No. I'll give you a metric and imperial. which show had the B-roll you showed for Outpost building blocks? So some of it's from CitizenCon, other stuff would be from Inside Star Citizen. Zin's making a new streaming video at the moment, or at least will be soon. Let's say a streaming video, so my background videos that I use for streaming or other purposes. But I'll ask her what she used for that. How would you like to see salvage gameplay expanded in the future? Well, there's supposed to be lots of different types of salvage. So in 3.18, we're getting hull stripping salvage, both by hand and with the vulture. Obviously, I just want that expanded out to having the reclaimer salvage, which is more salvage. So it takes chunks of ships, tractor beams them in or whatever, blows them up, lasers them off, and then brings them into its gaping maw, and then crushes them down into cubes. There's siphoning, which you could argue that the Starfarer, maybe some other ships were to do, which is the removing of atmospheres and liquids and that sort of stuff from ships. And then I suppose there's also hand-based removal of components as salvage, which we will hopefully be having pretty soon, because when we have physicalized components, that's a huge amount of cool stuff with damage control and customization and replacing stuff, and being able to individually damage components brings a huge amount of additional gameplay to combat and sabotage and just loads of stuff, and being able to balance that stuff properly. Thank you so much, Noob Fire, for being forcibly sold by Coffee Gaming. But I hope you're doing well, mate. Love you, Noob, mate. We need to catch up for a chat soon. I was talking to Salty Mike earlier as well. I said I wanted to catch up the chat with him, but I also wanted to catch up the chat with you, because I hope you're doing well. But with salvage gameplay, I just want it expanded to have all the salvaginess it's supposed to have. I mean, in the first iteration, is it going to be specific salvage sites or salvage locations? Can we salvage any ship that's destroyed or damaged? Say salvage, and it is just hull stripping at that stage, and sort of repair. It is repair. What do you expect are the upcoming unannounced ships their own final art? Well, one of them's almost certainly going to be a mobile refinery ship. Beyond that, I don't know for sure. Could we see a jet ski or underwater vehicle? Huh. Do you think there are unannounced alien races we have yet to see? Yes. I mean, there are some obviously announced ones we've yet to see, like the Kurthak and the Orisians. Or Osirians? The ones with the flashy light headlights. Pew, pew, pew! Will we get environmental damage in the future, like when struck by lightning? That a power plant can get damaged if we didn't have our shields up at that moment. So, yeah, there will be environmental damage, and that will be able to damage your systems. Yeah. It's one of the reasons that you might not want to use a ship on a planet or in certain areas. Do you think the systems they are working on for Squadron 42 will drop in at the persistent universe at the same time? No, they sometimes maybe, but often they'll need more refinement and work. Hey, Bored, what's up? Your videos are what got me to play Star Citizen, so thanks a lot. I'm glad that you sound like you're enjoying yourself, Breezy Seashore. Thank you very much for the sub, very much appreciated. What types of new ships or vehicles would you want to see added in the game in the next year or two? I've got no specifics, really. I like the idea of a drone combat corvette, but just them expanding out ships more and more as they expand out gameplay and develop the game is fine with me. I like more industry ships. I like sort of farming and economy and industry-based things that are interesting to me. What is your absolute favourite starter for people that have never played, and a favourite for someone who has played during a free fight? I mean, so things like just a basic starter, I really like the Mustang Alpha. I know Zin prefers the Aurora MR. They're great starting ships. They're cheap, then you can work on getting playing the game and getting something in game. Fantastic. Get it all in game, no more extra money spent. I do like the Avenger Titan. I do like the Cutlass Black. They are sort of recommended ships beyond the starters. From the current lore, who do you think could become a hero, baddie, poster child for the series? I mean, Miles Eckhart's probably pretty good. Love to you, Noob, as well, mate. When do you think we'll see drones? I don't know. So they were working on drones in 2018, and we haven't really heard about them more since. So expect to see them for scouting. But they are basically just potentially just mobile turrets. They can have them in the game if they wanted to, because you just can be able to remote them from a ship system. I do think they want to have them semi-autonomous as well, potentially. How will a small org that will not be able to be on 24/7 be able to run large projects on large ships? We don't know exactly how that's all going to work yet. How will solo people run large projects and have bases and things? Is having a full bladder going to be a thing in game? So I think that washing and general utilization of your body and bio is going to be a hygiene-based thing. You won't need to do it, but it will increase your hygiene when you do it. Yeah, I'm hoping they don't go for hard survival mechanics. Maybe a rephrase. Hi, my biggest question that you might not be able to answer, in-game chat moderators to moderate those people who are being toxic with racism and discrimination. Well, when do you think? So I think there's probably going to be ways to report them rather than on-demand moderation. You'll be able to silence those people, you'll be able to report them, you'll be able to block them. I think the report function is probably relatively essential. In the short term, if someone is generally being terrible, screenshots, send it to customer service. That's the sort of best thing you can do. But yeah, I think report. You're going to see like gold spammers and things like that as well, like we did in Lost Ark or whatever. So just report functions, I think, is essential. In-game, easy to use report function that then logs it. Do you think we'll be able to do some not so legal modification to components or modification that will result in losing insurance or something like that? I think that most basic insurance will cover the hull of your ship and the basic default stuff. Beyond that, any customization to your ship will need to be then separately insured or insured for a larger amount. That's my expectation of insurance. Robert Johnston, love you, mate. You take care, buddy. Talk to you soon. Waylayer. I'm a bit confused what this means. Will you be able to have smaller components, so you change a size 3 to a size 2, and then will that allow you to then have large components in other elements, other areas of your ship, potentially? I don't think so. What else have we got here? What are your thoughts of the addition of Pyro and trading? I'm really looking forward to Pyro. It's going to be absolutely super hype. Trading, it's going to make... I suspect there's going to be certain things in Pyro you can only get in Pyro. There's certainly going to be lots of trade opportunities with the stations there and bringing stuff back to the Stanton system. I think it's going to be absolutely huge for the game. Could the mobile refinery ship it could be an entirely new ship or the Starfarer? Yes. It could also be them updating the Starfarer to be able to be a mobile refinery properly. So bear that in mind. Your opinion, mostly you would like to be able to salvage large parts and then dismount them for spare parts or fix them and sell them. I just want lots of different types of salvage. So I want to be able to take components by hand, full components that may not be destroyed or damaged. I want to be able to destroy sections of ship and nom them up and crush them into cubes. I want to be able to hull strip. I want to be able to siphon off atmosphere and liquids. I mean, I want to sort of be able to do it all. Well, not at the same time, but I think all of that gameplay is important. I was also thinking that along with Apollo, they might get the release of drone tech. So they did talk about the Apollo and having sort of like their stretcher drones that can fly out and grab someone and pull them into the ship. Maybe at the same time. When will we be getting AI manned turrets on ships? So they've got a load of the AI tech done for being able to have AI controlling turrets, and they haven't really talked about when we're going to be able to have NPC or AI crewmen yet. They're working on it. There's no hard date on that at all. Is lifetime insurance worth going for? If you can get it for free or easily, yes. Why not? I do not think it is a huge deal, though. It's not a big deal. Which is more realistic? Expecting Pyro in 2022 or the Banu Merchantman in 2022? Good question, Hitman. I don't know. It's probably more realistic to expect Pyro. Yeah? They're both potential end-of-year releases if the stars align, I suppose. Is fishing an expected activity in Star Citizen? I think they've casually, jokingly mentioned about fishing because it's an MMO. I don't know if that's certainly not a confirmation or anything. But I would expect fishing because it's an MMO. If they get Pyro out in 2022, I don't think we'd see Nyx still. I think that would be a quarter or two away. I mean, at best. Tractor beams with salvage, not with hull stripping, which is what we're getting in 3.18. But they have been working on tractor beams. They've been working on them for the Hull C. So I would start to expect to see ship-based tractor beams in game, because obviously we've got hand-based tractor beams already. Theatres of War this summer. I don't know when we're seeing Theatres of War. They were working on it. There was a team dedicated on working on it. Last time I played it, it needed some work, but it didn't look too far away. I think that CIG want to improve animations, general feel of gameplay, get some general core tech in there, and they need to improve the networking stuff. That is the main blocker. During a recent Inside Star Citizen, they mentioned 2 unannounced vehicles moving into Greybox. What do you think these are? I think one of them is going to be a mobile refinery ship, most likely, but I don't know what the other one is. I want Theatres of War. I think I'm looking forward to it oddly, but the CIG need to make sure it's not trash, and when it's released, because it will be compared, even if it's an alpha, it will be compared to Battlefield that is fully polished. And you could argue that in Battlefield in its current state, that's okay, because it's not great to Battlefield, or at least there's been some problems with it. However, I think CIG are going to want a lot more polished game than they currently have. You've got me hyped enough to play a bit now. I mean, I love Star Citizen. I mean, you've got a couple more days to play in the Ninetales lockdown between now and March 6th, they're ending the Ninetales lockdown and Jumptown, so play while you can. We're not sure when the next sort of set of events is going to be, but it'll almost certainly be after 3.17 drops. Maybe we will do an episode about just talking about fishing. I might dash off there, because I'm hungry. But I will catch up with you soon, Noob. Noobify, mate, because I do want to. Got another couple of questions. When is Alien Week? Oh! When was Alien Week last year? June 11th here? Early to mid-June, well, it looks like. So Q2. I'll talk about it more once I know. If the Pioneer is for a large-scale building, do you expect there will be a smaller version? I expect. It sounded like you'll be able to move stuff So yeah, I do expect there's going to be a smaller scale version. Do I think it's going to be a vehicle or a ship? Yeah, there'll probably be a smaller scale ship that allows you to build as well. But I would also expect you probably be able to build without ship or vehicle, and then just have stuff delivered, which you can then somehow convert. You're going to need something, aren't you? You're going to need something for like a fabricator at the location where you're going to do your base, almost certainly. So maybe there always is a structure or a vehicle that you need to place. Anyway, usually June 12th. Fantastic. Thank you so much. That's appreciated. What's your guess on the minimal crew size for Banner Merchantman? 1 is minimal crew, because you can fly it with 1. That's minimal. Do you want to run it with shops? Do you want to have an engineer going around if it breaks down? Do you see what I mean? It's sort of, you can minimum for most ships is 1, even like a javelin or something. It depends on what you want to do with it. It's not going to be the most sensible thing either, because often bits will break. Right. I love you all very much. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'm going to find you someone that I can chuck you at. That you can make them stream for you. I'll chuck you at Avenger 1. You can watch him for PvP, and generally he's a pretty good pilot. So give this boy some love. Let me go over here. No, that's me. Perfect. And let me also share his stream. But yeah, thank you so much for watching me today. It's very much appreciated. Hope you have a great weekend. We'll be having getting a video out later today on the rivers and the reputation updates and some bits like that. And over the weekend we'll have the news and the Squadron 42 report going up. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Love you loads. Go give Avenger 1 some love, and I'll talk to you soon.